Hello everyone, you are watching the Rise Youth Ministry podcast. Here we will be talking about a lot of relevant topics, addressing the different struggles that youth face living out the Christian faith. We'll be giving you some tips, tricks, and advice to help you discover the person God called you to be. Hello everyone, welcome to the Rise podcast at St. Benedict Parish. My name is Dan Pereira and I'm the Youth Ministry Coordinator here at the church. And on my right is Mark Saldanha. Welcome, Mark. It's good to have you.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
Hey, always. It's a pleasure. So, Mark, for those of you who may not know Mark, maybe you could, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, who you are, and how you found yourself here.
Absolutely. Yeah, so my name is Mark Saldanha. I was born in Mumbai, India.
Nice.
It's pretty far away from Halifax, but I lived there until I was 5. And then I moved here with my family, so I have a brother, 2 parents. And yeah, we moved here when I was pretty young.
Nice.
And yeah, we came right to Halifax. I didn't know why, but we did. And I've lived in the same house since I was a kid.
Nice.
And I went to school around here. And then I went to Dalhousie, studied neuroscience there, and then I did an MBA at Queen's. And so I just recently finished that last January, and I'm just working as a consultant now in Halifax. But yeah, Halifax is absolutely my home, and I'm so excited to still be here.
Right on. And how long have you been a part of the parish? I don't know if you mentioned that already.
Yeah, I have. So I was one of the 3 parishes that amalgamated into St. Benedict.
Okay.
I was part of Our Lady Perpetual Help. And so, yeah, ever since the parish opened up, I've been a part of it. So I've been an altar server.
Yeah.
I've just pretty much gone through puberty within this parish. So I've had my fair share of awkward moments.
Right.
But I love this place. It's home.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So you pretty much, grew up at the parish then, eh?
Mm-hmm.
You said altar serving. Any interesting stories about altar serving?
To be honest, I don't think I was the best altar server because my coordination wasn't very good.
How old were you when you first started?
I'm probably like 8 years old.
Okay.
Started when I was 8, and so I wasn't the best on my feet. But I think those are one of those things I grew spiritually within St. Benedict, but I also grew in hand-eye coordination and a whole load of things. So, yeah. We won't go into specifics.
Okay, sounds great. Yeah. So, Mark, for those of you who might not know, Mark and I, we're pretty good friends, I would say so. I would think.
It depends, but
it depends on the day.
For the most part, incredible friends.
No, Mark and I have been through youth ministry actually. Like when I was in high school and you were in high school at the same time too, like we used to come to the Rise. It wasn't the Rise at the time, but the youth ministry at St. Benedict, and we started volunteering together. We became one of the youth leaders, and we also went to Dal together. Like my first year was your first year.
Yep.
So like honestly, I feel like I've in a sense kind of grown up with Mark too. So it's been pretty nice.
Yeah.
But so I'm really excited to have Mark here joining us on our first episode of the podcast.
Yeah. I'm so excited, Dan. Come on.
It's good to have you, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's dive right into it.
All right.
So the topic I want to get into today is the topic of why are we here? So when I say why are we here, I'm literally talking about the literal sense of why is Mark and I sitting in front of this camera talking to you guys?
Yeah.
But before that, let's address the elephant in the room, right?
Please.
I think it's been a hard couple of years, man, for I think all of us, and even more so just kind of talking about the church and how the church has kind of gone through quite the bit of having to like pivot and change things and restructure things. It's been a crazy year with a lot of changes. We were thinking back to like when the first lockdown kind of came into play, and I remember thinking, I was like, okay, like it'll just like 2 weeks, like that seems okay, like that's doable. And then what was 2 weeks became 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month, a couple of months, 3 months, and then it just felt like restrictions kept coming. Restrictions kept changing, and even now, like just more recently, with restrictions being lifted and then again coming back, it's been a hard time to just do ministry in general. Yeah. What's it been like for you the last couple of years?
As soon as the pandemic hit, then I think you saw me at my worst. I was didn't leave the house, didn't do
Yeah.
much. I resorted to walking a lot.
Mm,
Walking's great. I walk around my neighborhood a lot, and yeah, a neighbor came to me and said, "Welcome to the neighborhood. Like, are you new here?" I said, "No, I've been here for 20 years, but it's great to meet you." And
right.
um, it's just because I was forced to do things I normally wouldn't. Um, so there were a lot of blessings through the pandemic, but obviously also struggles.
Mm-hmm.
And I think two things that I struggled with were the first was the ease of falling back into lukewarmness. In
Right.
in my faith, lukewarmness.
Yeah, being lukewarm. Yeah,
Okay,
luke.
great.
If it's not a word, it's a word now, I
Yeah,
guess.
we just made that.
There you go.
Lukewarmness. Yeah, because something I've realized in my faith is that if I want to grow, if I want to be a saint one day, as we all want to be, we need to be actively growing, and we can't be backsliding. And if
Mm,
we're staying stagnant, we're backsliding. And I realized during the pandemic, you're not seeing a lot of people, not as many faith studies anymore, no community events. What am I supposed to do? You have to be. I've learned that I have to find new ways to keep growing my faith. And although it was a struggle, it actually turned into a blessing.
right.
Where I decided like I need to, you know, be more extreme. Pick Christ every single day, and actually grow as a man in my faith. So I think that was one struggle that led to an opportunity. But number two, I'd say would be um, struggling with loneliness.
Mm,
Um, it's often said people think that the greatest poverty in life is financial poverty, but it's actually the poverty of loneliness. And I realized that the hard way, as did many during the pandemic, because you don't get to see friends. A lot of family members, you don't get to hang out with them,
so
and
true.
it's hard. And you need people. We're made for community, and that's something that I struggled with because I didn't get to see a lot of people.
Definitely. Like honestly, that's so true. Because like for me, I miss the little things in life, like coffee socials after Sunday
Mm,
mass, like
yeah,
just being able to hang out and catch up and see how everyone's week was going. Like
yeah,
I miss the little things.
yeah.
Yeah.
Those little lemon squares too.
Little lemon
I haven't had one of
squares.
those bad boys in two
Bring
years.
back the lemon squares. That's what we're really
That's a
saying here.
tragedy. Let me tell you. Yeah.
Man, but it's true. It's like I think in the heat of all of this, um, loneliness in all areas has been something that I think we're all experiencing.
Mm,
And like my heart goes out to you guys, like some of our youth that have had to kind of like go through. Like I'm thinking of school, right? Like
mm,
some of my favorite parts of high school was just like hanging out with my friends and being social and as much as like yeah getting good grades and all that. I wasn't the greatest, I wasn't the brightest kid in school, but like I did my best. But
yeah,
some of my most yeah like really memorable parts of high school is just hanging out with my friends,
yeah,
and so I can't imagine like not having that social aspect for a long period of time, or just having certain parts of that getting stripped away and then coming back, being able to do that again and then again, like this
yeah,
just a sense of uncertainty that has kind of come with the last couple of years.
yeah, yeah.
It's been hard, and so that's why I'm actually excited that we get to do this and produce content that will reach people regardless of where they're at, like
Mm,
wherever they are, whether they're like you're at home about to go to bed and you tune into one of these videos, or maybe you're sitting down with your family and you happen to go on YouTube and here you are watching us. Like
mm,
that's awesome, like praise God. But I'm excited that we get to produce content that will actually like meet you regardless of whether you're in person or online,
yeah.
right? And you're absolutely right, Mark. I think there's this urgency, especially now, having been through what 2 years of this consistent change, like change that's unpredictable in a certain
Mm,
sense, um, that we almost go back to fostering that sense of relationship, right?
yeah.
And it sucks. I know being online sometimes can feel like a chore too, right? It's like the last thing I want to do is be online, be behind a computer screen, talking to somebody that
Mm,
I could be in person with, but there's also beauty in that, being able to connect and still have um, a sense of relationship, even if it's behind a computer screen. Because like think
Right.
about, I'm thinking back like just a few years ago. Like my mom talks about what what things were like before social media and
Mm,
before we had our phones. Like people still try their best to hang out, to
yeah.
have yeah like conversations and be social. But like
Yeah.
we can't complain because we have way more than what they had back in the day, right? And
Hmm.
so I think on the flip side of not being able to see each other in person, like we still can. I think that's a good thing too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's been like one of the hardest things for you personally, like in all of this?
Um, I miss you guys, man. Like it's like I think I realize I take a lot of my friendships for granted.
Mm,
And um yeah, like there was a period of couple times where for like 2 3 weeks I'd stay at home. I didn't get to hang out with anyone or see you and all our other friends. And um I'd say that's been the hardest part. Um yeah, just kind of missing out on that. And like I remember I saw you at mass the other day and I hadn't seen you for like 2 weeks. I
right.
was like, man, he probably doesn't even recognize me anymore. Like I actually felt that. I was like, because you grow a little bit apart from people too. Like there are definitely
Of course.
friendships where, um, because because of the pandemic, because things are kind of locked down, you don't get to see people as much, and yeah, there are friendships that suffer because of it. And so I think that's been kind of hard, just the friend part of it
Mm,
and having community.
definitely.
Yeah.
And so like obviously you were here, like you're serving on team at the Rise, and like I think even for us as like for us on team, it's been hard to keep up with all these restrictions, right?
Hmm.
So personally, what has been the driving factor for you? Like why, like what drives you to come to ministry on a Thursday night,
Yeah.
to be a part of youth group, to be a part of ministries at the church here?
Yeah. Yeah. When I was a kid going through youth group, um, I was that guy. I was like, I had it all together. I thought I knew everything. Um, Definitely did not. And I realized how much of life I wasn't living.
Mm,
I was always told growing up that my identity is comes from the things I do, the things I have, or what others say about me. And I was living my identity out of those three things because that's what the world tells you, right?
right.
Um, but that's a terrible way to live, because you're trying to impress people. You're trying to do what society tells you is the correct way of doing things, and that doesn't fulfill you. It doesn't help anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that, especially when I was going from grade 12 to first year university. That's when I had my major conversion. I realized my identity is not placed in those three things, it's placed in God. I'm a son of God, and that's all that matters. And when I had that realization, I had wished that I had known that going through school,
Right.
um, because junior high, high school, like it can be fun, but it can also be like it's a very it can be a dark place.
Mm-hmm.
For many people, struggle, and you can lose yourself, and you look for happiness in the wrong places. And so when I look back at all that, I realize like I want to be able to be that person, who can remind youth, like you're loved, you're worth it. Doesn't matter what others say about you. None of that matters. God loves you so
Right.
much, and that's what brings me back. Because that's what changes lives. I think like people being reminded of their identity.
Mm-hmm. That's really beautiful, and I love that you said like we can kind of lose our identity, or like even when you were in like high school, kind of going to university, there's that yeah the risk of losing who you are. And I think yeah I can so relate to that because like there's so many times where like just out and so like if you pick up your phone and you look on social media, there's like so many different things to kind of distract you and tell you who you are, but
Mm-hmm.
like there's so much truth in kind of finding that in your faith and finding that in the
Yeah,
way that like you serve the Lord. And I think that's really beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
so the Rise on Thursday nights, like yeah, like why the Rise?
Mm-hmm.
Like out of everything you could be doing, um, like why specifically youth ministry?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's again, it comes back to my why for sure. I think it's so meaningful to be able to play a small part in someone's journey to God. And I fondly remember like the net team coming here when I was like 12 years old. I remember a couple guys as well who were older than me and who journeyed with me, and they made me they're a big part of who I am today.
Right.
And so if I can kind of have that impact, that means the world to me. And on the flip side, I had the best time ever coming here. Like we just got a ping pong table.
Yeah.
And I think some of the kids hate me because of it. But I don't believe in going easy on anyone.
Right.
Like, should I?
Just straight up destroying relationships.
You have to. To some extent, you have to.
There's nothing wrong with a little bit of competition.
Exactly. Sure. So I just get so much joy from coming here, just having fun with everyone, especially the leaders too. We've developed a cool community just within our leaders.
Yeah.
We get to hang out with each other. I look forward to that a lot. So just all around, it's a great place to be.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think I'm a little biased because I'm, like I get paid to be here, but like you're so right. I think just the culture that, like even like us as a team that we have, like the dynamic of just coming and doing this and getting to journey with some for youth and almost feel like a youth ourselves, right? Like I mean, a lot of people on our team are not far off from some of you guys who might be even watching, and it's really cool that we get to just hang out and serve in that capacity in that way, which is really nice.
I get to relive my childhood. I never watched VeggieTales growing up, so now I get to do that with no judgment.
Right,
it's incredible.
That's awesome, man. That was crazy couple of videos there. The VeggieTales. Awesome. So Mark, well, thank you for being a part of this first episode here. We're excited because with the next few episodes to come, we'll be diving into some relevant topics, some topics that that you guys might know about, might be interested in, and just like relevant things that are happening today. And so we thought, like today with our first episode, let's jump into the why, like why are we here? It's to create a space, to create a place that you will feel welcomed, feel like you can belong. And like Mark was saying, I think we all kind of long for that space where we can just be ourselves, we can grow in fellowship and friendship with other people, people who are like-minded. Definitely find a place where we can have fun as well. And so absolutely. Well, thank you, Mark, for being a part of our episode, and till we see you soon.
We're done. That flew by. That was awesome. I had a great time.
That's great. So with that, we've come to the end of our first episode of the Rise Youth Ministry podcast. Thanks for watching. And as we get into the next few episodes, I'm excited to break in more conversation, more relevant topics, giving you the tools to be confident wherever you are. Here we are. Yeah, this is exactly where I want to be on.
Have I told you how much you mean to me, Dad?
No.
I'm not just doing this because the cameras are on.
Are you sure?
And that would look incredible right now, but you actually mean a lot to me.
Wow, it's very thoughtful and nice of you.
It's from there.
Yeah. Isn't your heart on the right?
No, on the left.
Is it on the left?
Yeah.
You would know. Been to med school.
Med school dropout.
Happens.
Yeah. To get this on the way here, I was like, I'm kind of nervous to do this. Should I just not show up? But then I realized Father Simon told me to take a risk this week. And I said, what is my risk going to be this week? And it's to come do this. And he's staring at me right now.
Right. He's on the board. He's behind my head.
He's right behind us.
There he is.
Here's me taking a risk, FSL.
Father Simon Lobo.
Here I go.
Jumping into the deep.
We're all called. We're all called to do something in life.